Good day. I am Kim Lemons Malate, 21 years old, from Ubat, Leyte, taking the course of Bachelor of Science in Marine Engineering, third year Alpha. Gender. It's one of the most debated topics today. Is gender assigned at birth, as some argue, or is it established at conception and recognized at birth? So, to answer this, we're returning to philosophy and science using two principles. Two opposing statements cannot be true at the same time. Second, it is possible for both to be wrong, but it is impossible for both to be right. Now, let us analyze these claims step by step, objectively. Gender is assigned at birth. Proponents of this view suggest that gender is a social construct. They argue that when a doctor declares a baby as male or female, it's a decision based on external anatomy. And this assignment doesn't always align with how a person feels later in life. This view often separates biological sex, physical characteristics like chromosomes and hormones, which is seen as a fluid identity influenced by society and culture. So, if we claim gender is a social label without biological foundation, we are clearly denying the evidence that biological sex plays a significant role in shaping gender identity for most people. This argument struggles to remain consistent with reality. Now, science tells us that biological sex is determined at conception by chromosomes, XX for females and XY for males. These chromosomes guide the development of reproductive organs, hormonal patterns, and physical traits. While there are rare variations, such as intersex conditions, these exceptions don't negate the general biological rule that sex, and by extension gender, is determined by genetics and biology. Gender is established at conception and recognized at birth. Now, let us examine the second claim. Gender is established at conception and recognized at birth. This view asserts that gender is tied to biological sex, which is determined by conception by genetic makeup. What we call assigning gender at birth is simply observing this biological reality. This claim aligns with objective truth. The principle of non-contradiction supports it. The physical trait that we use to identify gender at birth are non-arbitrary. They reflect a deeper biological fact that established from the moment of conception. Science supports this claim. Chromosomes set the blueprint for a person's biological sex, which manifests in the development of reproductive organs, hormones, and other traits. This view is consistent with the principle of objective reality. It recognizes that while cultural expression of gender can vary, the biological foundation is universal. This argument holds up the scrutiny because it aligns with both observable evidence and logical coherence. These two claims are fundamentally opposed. If gender is assigned at birth, it implies subjectively contradicting biological evidence. If gender is established at conception, it is rooted in objective science and philosophy. And remember, our principle, two opposing statements cannot be true at the same time. Either gender is subjective or it's biological, but both cannot be correct. The evidence overwhelmingly supports the idea that gender is established at conception and recognized at birth. It's the only view consistent with objective reality. Could both claims be wrong? Only if we reject both biology and philosophy entirely. Perhaps by arguing that no understanding of gender or sex is possible. But this would contradict the overwhelming evidence from genetics, biology, and philosophy. In short, rejecting both claims doesn't hold up under scrutiny. What's the verdict? The claim that gender is established at conception and recognized at birth is supported both science and philosophy. It aligns with the principle of non-contradiction and objective truth, and it is grounded in biological reality. While social and cultural factors can influence how gender is expressed, they don't change the biological foundation set at the conception.